Hi, welcome to this video. In this video, I will talk about JavaScript nested functions. In JavaScript, it is possible to nest a function. So you can define a function inside another function. I will give you an example of nested function. I will declare a function. I will give it a name, outer function. And inside this outer function, I am going to define one another function. I will give it a name, inner function. And inside this inner function, I will execute a line of code. I will use document.write method. I will say code execution inside inner or tested function. And now I will invoke this inner function inside the outer function. And I will also need to invoke this outer function. I will go ahead, I will save this script. I will open index.html file. So you can see code execution inside inner or nested function. So by this way, you can nest a function inside a function. Nested functions have interesting scoping rules. A nested function can access any variable and parameter of the outer or parent function. I will create some space. And as you can see, I just added a function, and inside that I have nested a function. You can see there is a variable d which is declared inside the outer function, and the outer function has two parameters x and y. And inside the nested function, I have variable g. As you know, this variable g has local scope inside this inner function, and it is very easy to access this variable g inside the inner function. But what about the variable d and x and y? You can also access the variable of outer function, I mean the variable d, and you can also access the parameters of outer function, I mean x and y. Let me show you how you can access the variable and parameters of outer function inside the nested function. I will use document.write. First, I will access the variable g, which is local to the nested function. I will add the variable g and I will add the line break. Now I will copy this line of code for the 3 more times. Now I will access the variable d, which is declared inside the outer function, and I will also try to access the parameter x, which are the parameter of outer function, x and y both. I will go ahead, I will save this script, but before that I will comment out this line of code. I will save it again. I'll refresh the page, so you can see in the nested function the variable g is accessible, which has local scope, but you can also access the global variable d, which is declared inside the outer function. Along with the global variable, you can also access the parameter x and y of the outer function. So this is to just give you an example of how variable scoping works inside the nested function. In this video, I covered how you can write nested functions and how you can access variables of the outer functions inside the nested function.